Huh?
Oh, hey guys, didn't see you there. Welcome to Response on Play episode 6. We're up here on Maria, possibly Maria, depending on who you ask. I'm Steph with that smiley face and no noise gate this time, so hopefully you can hear me. And I'm joined by
Jake, it's very high up here.
Andrew, I don't like heights.
Brian, heights are fine.
And James, I think I see the Titans coming.
Well, going into Nats, I think we're all going to see a few Titans coming. So let's talk about some of the Titans that we're probably going to see there. What do you guys think is the number one Titan we're going to see in Nats in about 3 weeks?
Yo, is Nats actually 3 weeks? That
It
is
is.
so crazy.
Yeah.
Super soon.
Yes, 3 weeks from today.
Yeah, and we're all super prepared, right?
Well, yeah, we've been playing a crazy amount.
Yeah, we've totally been doing that.
Nobody's been playing
100%.
video games like Marvel Rivals or anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
No one's
listen.
accidentally maybe almost missed a recording because of that.
Oh.
Anyway, talking about the Titans of our format, I think the most likely of the actual Titans is Bertolt 2.
I mean, yeah, I feel like that's not really a big surprise, a big shocker. Like, this character just kind of does everything. He draws cards, he gets to filter, he gets to draw first before discarding, giving damage or taking away damage. He can blow up the stage for both you and your rival, but your rival doesn't really get the benefit of, depending on when you do it, of having a stage after everything's blown up because it's at the start of the end phase. And then on the backside, he just gets to ignore progressive for all his attacks while not failing a check, like, at all. Like, this character just does a lot. It's kind of insane.
So Bertolt 2 felt like the biggest boogeyman and the biggest jerk when I played him in a local. But I feel like conversation around him has kind of dropped off. Do you guys feel like people have figured out ways to get around him? Do you feel like it's just like less excitement around him? Like, cause the last I saw, people were really complaining about him and wanting him to get eroded, and then he didn't, and everyone was shocked that he didn't. So what is happening with Bertolt 2?
I think that there's an argument to be made with Bertolt where if you can just survive his transform turn, you're probably fine. Or if you are an aggressive enough character that can push him faster than he can push you, you probably won't have a problem against him.
Yeah, I'm going to call on our local Bertolt 2 expert, James, weigh in on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's perfectly fair. What Andrew was saying. I mean, definitely, if you can just kill him before if his goal is built around transforming, if you can just aggro him out, kill him before he transforms, then you don't really have too much to worry about. You do have to get through typically, if that's the idea, they're going to be playing a lot of damage negation, so you got to kind of worry about that and find a way through that. And then, yeah, if you find a way to survive his transform turn, and he plays and removes 15 of his 20 attacks, then probably not have too much to worry about for the rest of the game. So I think those are definitely good ways to deal with it. I think when you think about like the hype and the talk about it, everybody wanted him to get banned. When he didn't, it became reality. Like, okay, this is what we're dealing with going into Nats, and so there's no really much use complaining about it anymore because they weren't going to make any changes after that point anyway.
So then do you feel like because he didn't get banned, that's sort of going to be like a meta-defining thing we see going into Nats, is people building decks around Bertolt 2? Or do you think he's fallen off enough that people are kind of just going to do their own thing anyway?
I don't really think he's fallen off. I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of stuff outside of webcam, really. So it's just like whatever you pick up from locals and whatever you pick up from people in the different groups and stuff. I still think he's going to be strong. I think we're going to see I would be willing to wager. How many people do we have signed up right now for Nats?
Last I saw, it was 196.
Yeah, and another. I would be shocked if we didn't get another 100 signups in the week coming too.
We should get. I'd be surprised if we don't break our last year number, and our last year number was like 420 something.
I think it was close to 500.
Yeah,
I think it was like 480
I think we're
something.
just shy of 450. But
what did it look like in the several weeks leading up to? Is that where you see like the ramp up in signups, or?
Yeah, it feels like nobody signs up early because they're like still going, well, I don't want to spend the $30 if I'm not going to be there. I don't know if I'm going to be there. It feels like a lot of last minute signups.
I mean,
Often.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna last minute sign up. I haven't signed up, and I know I'm gonna be there. It's a couple hour drive, so
You should sign up.
I probably will sign up. But I think that I think back to my actual point is like I would be surprised if we didn't see 10 plus Bertolt 2s. I think the character is wildly good. I have to constantly, when I'm deck building and like teching, and I think I might have found an interesting tech that fits some of this meta in the deck I'm taking. He has to be in the back of my head when I'm deck building like every time.
One thing I was going to say, like a secondary secret sauce to why we might be not hearing as much about Bertolt Hoover Living Weapon or Bertolt 2 is when I played him recently to basically help with testing, he wasn't very fun. Like, he wasn't
Yeah.
particularly exciting to play. He was good. I mean, I was able to win those matches, but like it wasn't particularly exciting. I was like, all right, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Gotta do the thing now. And I do think there's a level of that should matter or is probably going to be thought of when you get told, hey, you're going to play 9 rounds of this. I don't
Yeah.
want to play 9 rounds of a deck I don't think is very fun.
Yeah, I do want to point out in the most recent webcam championship we had on December 8th, there were 16 cut to top 16, only 2 of
Mhm.
them were Bertolt 2. So
That's
that's
true.
that was a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. And it was actually populated like more with other characters. But
And if you have the things pulled up, did any of them actually break top 4?
no, they didn't. The closest was 7. That
Okay.
was yep, Bertolt 2.
Now, I'll admit that some of that's probably people not refining the list that much and just relying on his own words to just figure out, like, if he can get there. I think you could probably make a list that's more suited to you or, like, just more suited to the larger field that probably feels a little bit better to play and
Mhm.
also might, just have better legs into things like Mimic or these other decks that it lost to. But for sure, I don't know if that will be enough. I know there's going to be plenty of people. I'm sure there's just as many people like me who go, this was not fun. I'm not playing it. I don't care that it's the best deck in the room.
Especially in this environment for this game specifically, a lot of people tend to play the characters that they like more than what's just strictly good, and they try to find the secret sauce in that character. I think a lot of us are doing that. So I definitely think that there could be less Bertolts than we're expecting, just because people don't find the character pretty fun. But I do think no matter what, he does have to kind of be in the back of your head of at least, hey, do I have a game plan against this character? Because if you don't, there's a good chance he probably will just roll all over you.
Agreed.
Yep. So he's still got that boogeyman status a little bit. You know who else is really fun and really good and also might be kind of a boogeyman is Mimic. And I played him and he is nuts. That guy is so fun and he seems busted. He was the top 2 at this last webcam championship. Like, this guy is really good. I don't know enough about this deck to say why he's good. I guess just because he can play off of assets like their foundations and we have really good assets now, but what do you guys think?
So I haven't played Mimic personally. I've only played against Mimic. This character just seems like he is playing a whole different card game. He just seems so weird. He's not playing by the normal rules of Universes where you pass you commit foundations for checks and everything. He's like, I could do that as well, but I'm gonna tap these green cards because I just can. So it's very weird to just sit and watch Mimic go, wow, you're putting out all this pressure and really only have 2 foundations, but you have like 8 assets. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, the man's playing Canasta instead of Universes. I think the biggest thing that makes him good is he gets to tutor things from his discard pile. And
He
it
does get
makes
to do
it
that.
very strong. And when I was running it to help with testing, one of the biggest things was, I have a walk the dog in hand. I've stunned them enough. I have enough that they're going to be not crazy expensive. I'll play one on a 5 and not feel bad. I'll just I accidentally checked an asset, I'll just pick up a second one, and then I'll draw three. I'll draw 3 cards this turn, and the second walk the dog wasn't even in my hand, so I might draw another one. I might draw who knows what I'll draw. He gets determined advance. He gets just a lot of ways to be scary.
Yeah, I mean, he gets Godzilla's kit, but he also gets to play green cards like their foundations. I will say when I played him, he seemed technical. There's a lot of moving parts with this deck. There's a lot of things you got to be reading and looking at. This is not a deck that you can put together and just take to Nats and do well with. Like, unless you're a god, I guess you're going to have to practice him. So, if you're thinking about putting him together, start practicing him now, because you're going to want to know this guy inside and out. I will also say, Mimic himself is very cute, which is bonus points for me. I almost had a moment of weakness where I thought I might play Mimic instead of Godzilla, because I was like, wow, he's just Godzilla but better. Which, not strictly true. Not strictly true, but in the moment I felt like that because I lost as Godzilla and then I played Mimic and won, and I was like, wow, my whole life is over. But the fact that he was cute and he's really strong and he runs City Rampage and he runs a lot of like Godzilla's Chaos Kit, it almost tempted me, but I stayed strong. I want you guys to know that I stayed strong.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you stayed strong. Also, yeah, being able to play $50 advance is pretty crazy.
Are they that high now?
Yeah.
That or I am, bro. Like,
Rochester CCG selling it for $72. Excuse me?
whoa.
Rochester?
That's
Yeah, it just looks like they.
Looks like people are buying them out for Nats, probably.
Probably.
I mean,
Yeah,
that card is
really good.
very good. I don't know if it's a $60 card, but it is a really good card.
Apparently it's a $72 card, depending on where you buy it from.
Another thing with Mimic is it's pretty much what Brian was talking about earlier, is you don't necessarily have to worry about, you still have to draw your attacks, but Mimic has this extra benefit of if you check an asset, which is likely because you do want to play a good chunk of assets with this character, you can just go pick up whatever 3-check attack that you want. And there's just a lot of good attacks that he has access to on the Chaos symbol specifically. Brian mentioned Walk the Dog, Vast Hybrid, Chimera Kraken. You get that to answer enemy assets. Determined Advance, again, that's a very good card. So Mimic just has access to these attacks at virtually any point in the game. Not only can he use it for offense, he can also block, check an asset, and then pick up an attack for blocking if he needs to survive. Yeah, so you're not only picking up attacks, you're picking up blocks.
Exactly. Yeah, I think, and the attacks that he gets to pick up are just so good. Like, I think, other than maybe Godzilla, like I think Mimic is probably one of the best ones to run the 5-check package, just because with things like Trigger and being able to pay with his assets, like he has, and then of course City Rampage that facilitates the whole deck. He just has ways to pass these high difficulty attacks and stack damage on top of them while he's doing it.
Well, speaking of Godzilla being kind of like Mimic, but maybe a little worse, who knows? Depends who you ask. You're going to see Godzilla at Nats. Everybody knew this. I knew this. You knew this. We all knew Godzilla's going to be there. Everybody loves Godzilla. But I think something you're going to see in Godzilla that maybe you might not have guessed, or maybe it wasn't on your radar, is Unfazed. That card's really good in Godzilla. It's pretty nasty. It almost replaces the need for City Rampage, but it works better because you can use Battle Arena to pay for it, because City Rampage is a blue card and it's not an attack. With Unfazed, you get to, after someone blocks it, and they're going to block it because it's a 7 damage on its face and it's 10 if you're playing Godzilla. So most people are probably not going to just take 10 to the chin and keep going. After your opponent blocks, you get +1 to any card you play this turn. So you could even play a City Rampage after that and you get a +1 to that check. So that card's really good. I think we're going to see that in Godzilla decks. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. That seems like it might be a staple going forward. But other than that, I'm not sure we're going to see a ton of different stuff in Godzilla that we didn't see in Atlanta. Might see less City Rampage, like I said, just because Unfazed kind of takes over that role a little bit. Going to see a lot of Vast Hybrid Chimera Krakens. Be ready for that.
Yeah, I think that card's just really good in general.
And then obviously Determined Advance, because everybody loves Determined Advance.
Yeah, I mean, everyone loves shelling out money for Determined Advance. I kind of want to do it right now. Yeah, I think being able to enhance your attack gets +2 damage if it's blocked. Your rival flips the foundation. Pretty good. I can see why people like Godzilla. Not being able to play difficulty 4 or less attacks, kind of bad. But being a 6 hand 36 health character,
34.
no
He's
36.
talking about -1.
Yeah, you're talking about -1.
That's the bit.
Real.
Godzilla King of the Monsters for sure will show up.
I hope.
God.
I hope there's a -1 out there. Please, someone.
I
do a
hope there's
-1.
one person committed to playing -1. You've got
They
my
were told
vote.
Godzilla was good.
Yeah,
They've
that's
told
right.
Godzilla. They're like, I've been studying the meta for weeks. Everyone keeps talking about Godzilla. I brought it.
Good luck.
But in all seriousness, yeah, I mean, I've played against Godzilla a handful of times. There's this nerd at our locals that plays it pretty regular.
Some would say
So,
simp.
Perhaps.
And so I've played against Godzilla quite a bit, and my win rate against Godzilla is not very high.
What's that like?
I would actually call it like none. I don't think I've actually taken a full set off of Godzilla yet. It plays really well into Titans and a lot of the stuff I've been playing. So, yikes! We can't all play Toya though, Andrew. So
It's true.
Yeah,
I don't even think Andrew's playing Toya.
I'm not.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I mean Godzilla is still just as oppressive as he used to be. I mean, the +3 damage for free, +2 to your check,
Mhm.
and the chaos symbol where you get so much free momentum is just so strong. Like for the same reason that Mimic can just spam out these 5 diffs, Godzilla can do the same thing, and I think he plays them just as well. So I think the characters have the same kind of game plan. I do think the getting to search for your own for attacks through your discard with Mimic does give him a little bit of an edge there. But I still think Godzilla is just as good as he used to be.
Godzilla can take a punch much better than Mimic can.
That's for sure.
Yeah, he can.
well, plus on top of that, getting to reset the stage is massive. Like
Mm.
most of the times, it's just the fact that I've blocked 2 and now I have no foundations to continue blocking more. Like, and then I die.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
resetting the stage while you have Battle Arena, like, unless they have -feet on their face or they're, like, defensive on their face, like, I won a few games off of that in Atlanta. So, like, I think it's just so strong. Like, if you have Battle Arena and they have a ton of foundations, like, just send it. Just, like, get everything out of here, play your Vast Hybrid, get that in momentum, set yourself up. You're good.
Yeah, just stomp your feet.
Yeah,
I don't
pretty
like
much.
foundations.
Yeah. Just throw your fit.
I mean,
I have to read the cards in your stage? Nope.
Exactly. Speaking of characters that I hate and I don't want to see at Nats ever again, Recovery Girl's probably going to be there.
Yeah, I think Recovery Girl got oh gosh, the name of that foundation escapes me.
Dupler.
Not the one I
We're
was
not
thinking
gonna
of, but
see that.
yes.
We might see that. That would be really funny. I hope we see a Dupler Recovery
It's
Girl.
like last second rescue.
yeah, I played against a Recovery Girl in Atlanta, and that matchup was miserable.
Yep.
I absolutely hated playing it. Absolutely. Glad I had an opponent that was fun to laugh with the whole time. Because that match, not it. I ended up drawing 12 cards off of Cyclone.
Howitzer Impact Cyclone.
Howitzer Impact Cyclone. Thank you, James.
That card.
I ended up drawing like 12 cards off that to deck myself out because I was kind of done with the game.
Going out on your own terms.
Yeah.
Common
I-
reaction to Recovery Girl games.
Yeah, it was just really boring. Like it was like no matter what I did playing Attack Titan, like giving stuff 1 billion damage or any of that stuff, it's just like, okay, I'm gonna set it back to printed and I'm gonna reduce it by 3. I'll take 1. All right, I'm gonna build this. We're gonna do it again. Cool, you hit me for like 5 damage over the course of your 90 attack turn. I'm gonna gain 2 and do this. Sick. You're dead. Actually, they didn't kill me at all. They just like it just played me to deck out every time, and it was just really, really annoying.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I
That's
hate
fair.
playing into that character. I've only done it like once and it was just terrible. Hated it. It was miserable and boring. Sorry to anybody who plays Recovery Girl, but I hate you.
And likes playing Recovery Girl.
Yeah, if you're doing it just because you have to, like someone's forcing you to, I understand. But if this is like a conscious choice, rethink your life.
If someone's forcing you to play Recovery Girl, you should probably rethink hanging out with that person.
True.
Blink twice if you need help.
I'm
Come
blinking.
to us at Response on Play. We will get you out of Nats.
Yeah. We are
We
a
will
safe
get you to a
space.
safe place. Yeah, no, Recovery Girl getting to give things throw. The dupler shenanigan of giving a bunch of damage and turning it into a throw. There's definitely some words. I think Last Second Rescue is the one that makes it really scary. Just going, if you can't do 30, and I've gotten the momentum because I make things to throw, I'm allowed to just take it on the chin, spin this, sacrifice it, and then immediately build it back in ready.
Yeah, you do need an answer for that foundation, like sealing it, committing it, because I believe it doesn't have tenacious. You just need the momentum. So you just need some sort of foundation answer to
Correct.
turn that off.
But if you only get to turn it off for that one turn because they can destroy it to give your attack throw or their attack throw still, and then build it in when they take that hit to the chin.
Well, at that point, if you're trying to kill them, then you need to make sure you have the answer to turn off Last Second Rescue. If not, then you're not killing Recovery Girl.
Yeah, with that, and what was the other one? Devour, I believe it's called, where they gain life when they do damage. There's just a lot of tools in her kit now that just make it so she never dies, which was already something that was a little bit difficult to do.
You're talking about the Titan attack that says respond after this attack deals damage, gain 5 health?
That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, she just has like no shortage of options. I mean, the character's been around for a long time. You'd think that they would get more options, but I also think it's one of those characters that's just, as far as like design space, is extremely boring to play into, because most of the time they play a few attacks. They're going to hold on to the one or two attacks in their hand, and they're going to do whatever to make it big, and they're going to be incredibly hard to kill for no reason. So like you kind of have to be teched to be able to beat them.
So what's the tech to be able to beat a Recovery Girl?
Hit him for 31.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
12,
I mean,
do 12 3 times, and then don't let her gain any other life.
Yeah,
yeah, pretty much.
One thing I was thinking about is like some of the lists have a lot of like reset. So if you're playing naturally big damage attacks, when I played Aaron, I played a lot of 3s, but I mean most of them became 10s.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to reset them down to like 4s and whatever to like make them effectively take 1. If you're hitting them with things that do like 10 damage and then they reduce by 3, they're still taking like 7 damage per attack, because they're not really built for blocking. Like they don't do a lot of blocking.
I'm hearing you just play 4 determined advances, and you're good.
Yeah, you can just set down $280 on the table and ask your opponent if they'd like to concede.
Well, you heard it here first. This trading card game is pay to win.
Every trading card game is pay to win, because if you don't pay, you can't play.
That's true.
And from what I saw, it looks like Rochester CCG has them. So you bet if I'm losing, I'm just going to be like, hey, I'll be right back. And I'm going to walk over to Sean and be like, hey, I need your determined advances. And I'm going to hand him my wallet, and then I'm going to get back to my game.
Yeah.
And before he tells you we're sold out, and just keeps your wallet.
No, they're going to be like $100 at Nats. They're going to jack up those prices like 20%.
They should.
The smart thing to do. Yeah, I would too. I don't blame him.
I don't know. I don't think, and I want to preface this here. I don't think he jacks up prices.
No,
at
I
events.
don't.
I want to say that now. Sean seems like a very good guy,
Yeah.
and I do know that he has sold retro stuff to help get people into retro at less than he should, to be honest, which is really rad on him.
Yeah, it's all jokes.
I understand. I
Yeah,
just
he's
wanted to
gonna
put that out
charge
there 'cause
$300 a piece.
I don't want somebody to hear that, take that out of point, and
No.
then he just like hates us.
Yeah. We'll be the most hated podcast in the scene. Just wait.
We'll
Too
be
late.
the only podcast in the scene, so we're the most loved and the most hated already.
I don't think we're the only. I think
There's
there's
UK
Yeah,
another
like
versus.
UK versus.
Oh,
Oh,
sure.
yeah, that's right.
I guess they do it in podcast format. You're right.
Yeah, they can. So they can be the most loved, and we'll be the most hated.
I like
I'm
that.
fine with that. I
Villain
go
arc.
with Villain arc.
arc.
Villains.
Villains, though. Toga 3? Yes? No? Toga 3 at Nats? Is she going to be there? She's a villain?
Toga 3.
Absolutely, she'll be there.
Feeling
She's,
cute. Might play
absolutely.
Toga 3 later.
she's a crowd darling.
She is.
There are a lot of people who are really like Toga as a character, not necessarily in the card game, just in general. And I think if you're going to do that anyway, Toga 3 is the one you're going to play. So
And this
Toga 3 is
is-
very good. She got
there's a lot of weapons now.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
a ton of
Yeah.
weapons from the
Yep.
last 2 sets, so it's just she's got all the options, and I think there's definitely I think definitely someone's going to find something. I would not be surprised if we see her top again.
Yeah, she just got a lot more tools. Like when she came out as like a starter deck character with Jetburn, like she was already like pretty decent, pretty good out of the box, and had some fun toys to play with already. But as you know, as we got more sets, especially with the AOT sets, she just got more and more toys to play with, and it's kind of insane, really. And it's really cool to see a starter deck character have this sort of I guess power level, I guess.
Yeah, when Toga 3 came out and I saw the amount of stun that was on that character, I'm going to be honest. I went home from my locals. I put a lot of cards that got rid of that dealt with stun in my deck, and then went back the next week. And yeah, that player was extremely shocked at how hard it was to commit my stage.
And then he still lost anyway.
Actually, no, I didn't. Shout outs to Terrence.
Toga 3 being able to commit stuff, a lot of really good weapons. I made a silly, pretty much weapon list that just every card that had weapon on her symbol, like foundation wise, was put in it, and it turned out 44 of my 60 card list was weapon, like had the weapon keyword, and I was just running the is it Ultra Speed Slash? What's the one that mills 3 and grabs grabs 2 weapons, 1 attack and 1 non-attack?
Yeah, I know what attack you're talking about. I forget the name though.
Yeah, and it never missed. I got 2 cards every single time on that mill 3.
I
It was
remember
very
that.
silly.
I remember that. I sat there and just watched you mill. I'm like, man, can't wait to see you whiff. Oh, you didn't. Shock. Whoa.
That deck wasn't that good, but it did that very well. But yeah, I think she's just very scary on Chaos. She gets to run a lot of the same Chaos things. She wants to steal momentum herself, and then once she gets going, she slams out something like, I don't know, Walk the Dog.
Yeah.
And just spins. I mean, basically just cashes in her chips.
I mean, she
Because,
gets.
hey, it's like turn 3, turn 4. Here's $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, she gets dual the Acromans, so she gets to just blow up she gets to commit one of your foundations, then she gets to just blow it up, or you lose 3 health. And she do that twice, because she can echo it.
That is definitely a cool idea. I'm not sure prevalent that will be, but it is cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think her core card is still just Deception Dagger, obviously.
It does have her face on it.
It does. And Walk the Dog. You can't run a Chaos list without Walk the Dog.
I don't think Walk the Dog has her face on it.
Oh.
No, it has some weird kid with a star on it.
Oh,
wait,
yeah,
that's
like
not Toga?
It could be.
Correct, it is from Yu Hakusho.
It's Rinku.
It's Rinku,
Who?
the kid that's dressing up like a clown mixed with David Bowie.
Who?
What?
What?
Who the hell is David Bowie?
So I'm going to need you to go look up a few pictures of David Bowie, and you'll see one of them has a big star on his face. And Rinku does too. Well, actually, no, sorry. I apologize. That is Suzuki.
Talking about
he is a
Suzuki.
clown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Hold on.
That's why I was like,
This is
that's
just
why I
a
was like,
child.
this doesn't sound right.
This is just some kid.
This isn't just some kid.
Oh, Pony? We're talking about kids. Pony's a kid, right?
Yeah,
I know-
Pony, just everything we hated about Mikasa, but with horns. She draws cards,
Horn
clears
counters.
cards, plays a million cards. Like just does the I want to string out and kill you on 2 or 3 very well.
Sure does have a
Um,
lot of words on her face.
I will say she's more what they want Mikasa to do, which is that she doesn't really get to do it on turn 2 because she needs the horn counters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very hard for her to actually do the whole I will keep my stage clean and play the game for free. Whereas on turn 3, that's probably true. If she gets to go into turn 3, she probably just gets to go, here, I'm just going to play all of them and kick them. But turn 2, which they were talking about in one of our first videos, their design philosophy is they wanted to get away from the turn 2 kill. Pony, I feel like, could technically do it. I think any of the good decks can do it on accident. Sometimes you just get lucky.
Yeah.
And you just check them all. She's not going to consistently do that. Mikasa, before the change, that was the thing. It was, I'm going to see if I can do it. And if I don't, you're going to kill me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely fits more in line with the turn 3 game plan, because she wants to get a couple horn counters on her turn 2, your turn 2, and then go crazy on turn 3, which I definitely feel like she can do after playing her a couple times, seeing other people play her. Like, she definitely has the threat level there where you have to be able to block a few. You have to be prepared. If you don't kill her on 2, be prepared to block a few on 3.
Since Atlanta, maybe even before, I don't know, I'm bad at time. People have been saying, like, oh, watch out for Pony. There's gonna be so many ponies. Be careful of Pony. And I've never played against a pony. And it could just be because I have, like, a low card elo or whatever. Like, I'm just playing against other people in the trenches. But, like, I never saw her at Atlanta. I never really saw her anywhere else. Like, I feel like she's a common thing. People are saying, like, she's gonna be a problem. She's so good, you're gonna see a lot. And people, from my perspective, are not playing her very much. Like, Atlanta, was she even on, like, the pie graph of, like, deck makeup?
I'd have to look. I don't remember, but the pie graph was also very small. You know, it was like a lot of 3s and 2s.
Yeah. So why
so
do you think people might not be playing her as much, even if she's super good?
she's hard.
Is that it? She's hard?
I think knowing when you're supposed to, when you're allowed to get your horn counters, when you have to spend your horn counters on not your kill condition, so that you can continue. Yeah, your horn counters.
Your corn counters?
Yeah, that's what I said the second time for sure. Thank you. Knowing when to spend those horn counters to keep you in the game, so that you get to play another turn, is very hard to know perfectly. I feel like in that vein, she's a lot like a Razorhead, where it is, yeah, if you can play perfect, if you just know the answer at all times, she's probably the best deck in the room. But knowing everything perfectly is basically impossible.
I see she's also a 7-hander with 22 health. So that might also be contributing.
She was on the pie graph.
Oh, she was?
She was 5%.
Wow, so I just never saw her. I just got lucky. Or maybe unlucky, I don't know. Maybe Godzilla into Pony would have been really good.
Ponies typically don't play card games. It's mostly human beings, so it'd be kind of weird if you actually saw a pony.
You're right. It'd be
true.
Kind of cool, though. I want to see a pony.
Yeah, I think any character that can kill you on turn 3 reliably or has a good shot on turn 3 is good. I mean, it's really hard to be bad killing your opponent on turn 3. But like sometimes you do just see the sauce. Like that's the same thing when I played Yusuke, also a 7-hander, 22 health. Sometimes you see the sauce and you just do 38 in a turn.
Part of her turn 3 that makes her good too is that she gets the option to abort it without necessarily having committed a lot. She can realize, oh, I'm not going to kill you this turn, and then still keep some cards in hand, play defense again, and then try again on turn 4. She doesn't have to overcommit and then realize, oh, I don't have enough. And that makes her very strong as well.
Yeah, and having access to earth, air, and fire. I mean, she gets access to all of the when you discard, draw more. So she really, when she first came out, I don't know. I thought so. I didn't think she's very good because she goes negative on her when she gains horns counters. And that's just not a thing anymore. Sometimes you even go positive. So I think that fixes a lot of the problems that her character had. And so now she just gets so much value from just playing her turns.
Yeah, the fact that she has Earth, Wind, and Fire on her side.
Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air.
Another good reference. Good job.
What are we referencing?
Well, Earth, Wind, and Fire is a band, and then he was saying Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air, which is the
Hex Girls.
Yeah, the lyrics to one of the Hex Girls songs. I don't remember which one.
See, I was
that
gonna
might
say
just be the Hex Girls.
I was gonna say Avatar, Last Airbender. I thought that's what we were referencing, but I wasn't sure.
Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air.
Oh yeah, there's no wind in that. Never mind. I guess that's air.
I'm pretty sure there was wind in Atla. I think that was the whole point of like the wind gliders. But that's just
Well,
me.
wait. So who's separating wind and air? What is
The
it?
Hex Girls.
The
This was a
Hex Girls.
Scooby Doo show.
Do
or,
better,
like,
Scooby
character.
Doo. Come on.
The Scooby Doo movie,
Do
and it was
better.
He was
incredible.
they were in the shows later too.
They were in the shows later. That's true.
All right, we got some Hex Girls experts.
We do.
You would be. You would be.
Hex
That's all
Girls
I can
Sims.
say.
James and I are experts of many things. Hex Girls is definitely one of them.
Well, I know James is an expert in one thing, and that's playing really annoying decks. So I have a question for you, James. Between these two decks that we're probably going to see at Nats, which one is more annoying, Rodon or King Ghidorah?
Look at this ink blot. What do you see?
Between the two, I think at most annoying it goes to King Ghidorah, just because most annoying is going to be 4 +1/-1 speeds and 4 +1/-1 damages, and you just don't get to play the game. So I think if we're going for most annoying at their peak, it definitely is going to go to King Ghidorah, because then even if you do get through, you still have to deal with the horn counters that just mess up all your math.
The horn counters?
I'm sorry, the head counters.
The corn counters?
The
all over
corner
the place.
full circle.
I agree with James. I think King Ghidorah is slightly rougher between the two. Rodan minuses your speed, which obviously is very difficult to get through because it's consistently pretty good. But King Ghidorah gets to just kind of pull the answer every time. And getting to do all these, hey, when you're supposed to be almost dead things at full health all the time, is very strong.
Yeah.
So is King Ghidorah the only one between the two who gets combined firepower, or does Rodon get it too?
Rodan gets it as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
They
great.
both get it.
Nice. Great.
Yeah, because it's on Void, because they
Yep.
were in the deck together.
Oh,
Yes.
Cool. Jake, what do you think about this? Rodon or King Ghidorah? Which one do you hate more to play against?
More at 11.
Shut up. Well, seeing as she's talking to me and not y'all, I'm gonna answer this question.
Push up my glasses.
Actually, you guys will find that Ghidorah is actually the more annoying character.
It's true.
That's what everyone's saying.
That's what
Shut up! I want to say it too.
You didn't say you couldn't.
Yeah, Rodon's kind of annoying with like whatever it is Rodon does, but King Ghidorah, like a lot of the times when you play against King Ghidorah, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna slap you for 12, and they're like, actually it's 9, and you're like, okay, I have to play another attack to hit you for 1, so it has to go through, so I can't like chump it and just assume I'm gonna get this 1 damage through, but then like I have to overload an attack to do 1 damage. Like what the? I have to waste all these resources to take 1 head counter off. And it's like Brian said, when you have a deck that you're getting to do almost dead stuff all the time, like getting the +1/-1s and stuff for being at such low health, quote unquote, stupid 3-headed dragon.
Hey. Hey now.
Hey
You're a rock
now.
star.
That's
Here.
the king of the cosmos you're talking about.
That's the king of pissing me
Uh,
off. I'm
it's
talking
the
about.
emperor
Emperor
of
of the
the
cosmos.
You better put some
Whatever.
respect on his name.
Same
Godzilla is the
thing.
king of the monsters.
All right. Same thing. King,
Emperor of the
Emperor.
Monsters,
Yeah,
King of the
king,
Cosmos.
king is his first name, not his title.
Oh, you're
Emperor
right. Okay,
is
so
his
he's
title.
both. So he's both. He's technically a king of the cosmos. He's a king and an emperor.
Okay, that none of that matters because I'm still gonna teach you guys how to train this dragon. All you have to do is kill it, and it ceases to be a problem. But yeah, like that's basically what I mean. Is like you having to do so much damage to it, and like you do get in scenarios where you're like, cool, I'm gonna hit you for 10, and they go, actually, it's 9.
It's not enough,
You've got to try again. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get another turn specifically because I chumped you by 1 or 2, and then I gained a health and drew a card and slapped my mama to get this advantage.
That's wild.
Like this stuff's just so crazy. So yeah, I think it's the most annoying just because of like how many little micro interactions throw off like, or I guess not throw off, but add to his survivability versus like what Rodon does. Because I feel like Rodon's a lot more manageable.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, Rodon still has 21 health, right? So it's kind of like we were talking about before, playing perfectly. Like, yeah, he's got these tools in his kit that help facilitate that now, but you don't have the benefit of you got to do 10 3 times or anything like that. Like if you can smack him for 21, he just dies. So it's definitely a little bit easier to manage. I do think we'll end up seeing both of them there because they are still both great characters. But
Mhm.
King Ghidorah definitely wins in the harder to kill area.
I think Rodon also, going into basically another character since we named both of them, um, also has the benefit of combined firepower as a block, but also the detriment of combined firepower as the block because it's always a mid. And if you're playing any kind of deck that doesn't really want to be mid, like that is all highs, all lows, or just really plays a lot of those, will just die to half blocks very quickly, especially if they have decent damage on them.
Do not get me started on combined firepower. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, well, since you talked about it, so combined firepower on this half block nonsense, it doesn't matter. Combined firepower, getting to play it for free, ignoring progressive is still massive, and a half block ignoring progressive is still some type of damage mitigation for free. And I'll stop there before Andrew has to edit out like a 30-minute rant.
Thank you for finally thinking of me.
But also, combined firepower,
This fucking
it's just
guy.
not a fair
Anyway.
card.
All right, let's circle back to. Oh, I hate that term. Never mind. Fucking work terms.
All right, hold on. We're gonna
If you give me the story points on this,
my God.
Let's synergize
No.
From that
standpoint.
No.
as per my last email.
Shut the hell up.
I am returning to the discussion on Titans. Ymir? I don't know anything about Ymir. Tell me about Ymir.
Okay, so
Talk to me.
Ymir, actually, I think Ymir is really good. Ymir is one of the characters that I tested on pretty early in the AOT cycle. I think Ymir is fantastic. It's one of those decks where if left even kind of unchecked, you just stomp all over your opponent. Like losing health to do some amount of damage if you have the openings on front side is good, but getting to build something in middle of the turn and then transform into a Titan that gains health and then gets to do extra damage per health gained total this turn. So if I have other things that are just like, oh yeah, gain a health. It's very often where like my third, fourth attack is doing like 6, 7 extra damage. And every attack gets a free +2 speed.
Yep.
Plus Ymir has speed denial on face.
Once.
Yeah, but I mean it still counts.
You may
Agreed.
speed denial once.
Yeah, I mean, but you can do that once, and then also you can do that to reduce speed, block, and then you also on life get to play resting up. So now you've tapped your character to give them to minus speed, and then you can resting up to either in the same one give -3 more speed or use it later for -3 speed. So it's a very easy chain into more effects where you have plenty of speed hate on board.
Yeah, it's just resting up at that point just becomes another form of Ymir's enhance of -3 speed at that point.
Exactly, which is just good.
Well, I know James, our sweet baby boy, has played Ymir before. What did you think of Ymir when you tested her?
I thought she was quite good. I mean, it's for the same reasons that Jake was talking about. I definitely think that this is one of the characters where you have to try and focus them down early. Same with Bertolt too. They get to transform; they just become so oppressive. The +2 speed really matters here, and then, of course, just the damage. It gets insane. Like he was saying, third, fourth attack, you're giving +7 damage on certain cases. Like it gets out of control, and being able to say, hey, if you didn't kill me last turn, I'm gonna go almost back to full health, so try again this turn. She's kind of got a whole toolkit that just helps her stay alive when she needs to, but also be super aggressive at the same time.
So actually, I think you and Jake both tested Ymir at some point before Atlanta and wanted to take her to Atlanta, or maybe it was just Jake. Why did you guys ultimately decide not to take her if that was the plan?
Yes, it was one of the characters I was big testing on. It was looking like to be my pick, but it was before the Mikasa errata, and I had already kind of started swaying into Aaron, the Attack Titan. So I like what Aaron does. I think stage destruction flipping and that type of interaction is a lot of fun. So I kind of leaned into that, and then Mikasa got eroded, but I had already started playing Aaron and was enjoying playing Aaron, and I figured he kind of had like the secret sauce. It's not really secret sauce, but he had the sauce. Which I mean, I didn't do too great in Atlanta, but I don't feel like I did too bad. I took some games by surprise. I there were a couple areas that deck struggled with really hard, and I happened to go right into them in a couple matches. Yeah, I think Ymir is really good. I just kind of it felt like easier to get rushed down because uh Ymir has 23 health, I believe.
Yes.
And on front side, you're minusing health to do extra damage, so you usually don't do that unless you're like trying to poke and get a little bit of damage to set up. But you have to be very careful because it can just cause you to die. But as soon as you hit the backside, I mean, James is right. You're gaining, a bunch of damage or gaining a bunch of health to do damage. So like if you're not doing, there were several times where in testing, James had me down to like 6-7 health, and then I'm back at like 20 the next turn. And he was able to survive my turn, but I'm back at full health. And it's just like it's that cycle. If you get in a good groove, you can be kind of hard to kill, but if you don't get to flip, you might not get an impactful turn because I don't really feel like Ymir has the threat that like Bertolt 2 has on front side, where I think Bertolt 2 can just kill you on his front side. He has the tools to see all the attacks, he gets the damage, and he can just play a billion cards. Whereas like Ymir kind of wants to build and do the defensive stuff, and then boom, I'm big, we're going hard.
Yeah, I tested Amir a little bit for this event coming up for Nets. Eventually, I did swap off because I've played a lot of 7-handers, and I just kind of wanted to do something a little bit different for no reason other than just personal preference. Like I was playing the character and I was like, wow, the character is good. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with the character or any reason not to play her. I think she's got the tools to survive. I think she's got the tools to kill people. I think she's very strong. I just wanted to do something a little different.
Fair and understandable. What are you playing into Nats then? Have you decided?
At this point, it's more than likely just going to be Ochako 4.
Oh, yeah, that is very different from Ymir. You're right.
And I'm looking at playing Hawks.
Also very different from Ymir.
Hawks is just kind of a comfort pick. I played it in Vegas. I had some fun, had some learning experiences, and I feel like Hawks has gotten a couple cool things on order since then.
I think Brian and Andrew are the only two that are kind of going out of their comfort zones for Nats, right? Night Eye and Kamui, right?
Kamui 2 is who I'm looking at, but I'm still very indecisive because I'm taking Kamui 2 because of the team's event that's going to be at Nats. So regardless, I'm going to be playing Kamui in some fashion.
Lurkers. Yeah, because we're playing because I don't know if we'll make day 2 or 3 or whatever. But current plan is Brian, Andrew, and I are playing Ed Shot, Kamui, Woods, and Mount Lady. We're gonna team event as the Lurkers.
Yeah, it'll be fun. But I'm at the very least taking Kamui for that. But I'm still trying to decide if he's who I'm playing for the main event as well.
And for me, Night Eye isn't necessarily not a comfort pick. I ran him in the sideboard of Ochako a couple of times, and he was very fun. I just feel like he still does really well into the current format. A lot of the characters we just named want to manipulate their discard piles or take stuff from their discard pile or want to see more cards in their discard pile than they're supposed to be. And he gets to kind of just like mess with that game plan, which I think is very good.
So that's some deep Brian lore. I didn't know you had Night Eye in the Ochako sideboard.
I remember seeing it.
He was in the Ochako sideboard for Gen Con. And I played him like 2 times. It didn't feel that good. It was good for what it was, but it just kind of obviously like the deck was built to be Ochako too.
Mm-hmm.
So him piloting it wasn't as good. It wasn't built for him.
I feel like
But it was
sometimes
still a lot of fun.
the side into another character, I feel like that can get people. Like they can just be like, what the hell is going on? Well, it sounds like the only one of us that's still pretty undecided about what they're taking to Nats is Andrew. So, Andrew, I will ask you about the last character I think we are almost definitely gonna see at Nats, which is Bertolt 1. What do you think of him? Would you take him? What does he look like for people who have been living under a rock and don't know what Bertolt 1 does, like me?
And how cute is he?
Yeah, that too. That's important. Out of 10.
1 to 5. Oh, no, out of 10, sorry.
Wait, no. I like 1 to 5. You're right. That one first.
Okay, so how cute is he?
Yeah.
I'll give him a 3 out of 5.
All right,
Maybe.
now
I
it's
don't know.
Titan form.
Titan form, a solid -2 out of 5.
Damn.
Like,
But he's got such a jaw.
Yeah,
Look at that jawline. He looks like the Giga Chad meme.
he's just mewing all the time.
yeah, that's why it's -2. Get out of my fucking face. As for his character ability, I mean, I still think Bertolt 1 is pretty good. I don't think he really went anywhere after the first set dropped. I think with set 2, he just got more stuff to play with. Being able to punish your opponent for completely blocking because they don't want to take damage, especially 7-handers, you get to snag yourself a momentum, which leads into his backside where you can just transform and kill your opponent if you stack enough momentum. He also gets to filter a card each turn. Well, each of his turns because it's a form ability. I think the abilities on his front side is still very good. And even with Colossus Titan, with his transformation, he is just as powerful, probably just more powerful with the fact he can give his attack stun 1 and 3 damage. Each attack gets stun 1 and 3 damage. So it pretty much is like Toga 3, only the attacks will get 3 extra damage with it. So I think Bertolt 1 is still pretty good, a pretty solid pick if you're not sure who you're taking the Nats.
Yeah, I think people were really turned off by the fact that he got eroded, and they're just like, well, he's bad now. But I don't think that he's bad. I mean, he was 15 or 14 in this last event, so I don't think he's bad at all. He's definitely competitive.
Oh, absolutely. Like, so his errata, for those unaware, is on his face. The response doesn't have any condition or anything. The errata gave it a once per turn. So it's sure it is not as strong, but not punish your opponent for completely blocking every single attack is just nuts. You get to just stack all this momentum, and then on top of that, you are just storing for your backside to go, oh, well, you blocked like 5 attacks. All right, well, I'll go ahead and transform, and burn you for like 20. It was actually ridiculous when James and I play tested it. It's like, wow, this is actually not okay. So I think the once per turn is needed. I don't think it makes him bad. It just makes him more fair, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think this character is very good. We have a player at our locals that plays it and is about as hard to deal with as Godzilla has been. I mean, it's one of those things where you have to kill him quick because out of nowhere he can just end it, because with the introduction of falling debris alongside Armor of the Ape, he's now got 2 cards that say +X equals momentum on a character and a symbol that just stacks momentum. And then they've got the gotcha of surprising strength, where 3-diff action, the attack gains powerful or EX2, and then they add the card to the momentum. So on your falling debris and your Armor of the Apes, you can say, hey, it's a 11 for 11. Also, it's got powerful 2 for 6. And it just kind of goes crazy. So I think this character is very good. Definitely one to look out for.
Yep, I think all those assessments are correct. I think that he got touched, and therefore people aren't going to play him as much. Same reason for Mikasa, same reason for Reiner 1. Honestly, same reason for like the Kirishimas, etc. When these characters get changed, people just stop wanting to play them. It's just a symptom of how our game is played, or how the community views cards in our game.
Yeah, I mean, all the cards we talked about just now are the ones that we think are really going to show up. I think these are the ones that we think are definitely going to be there. In fact, I'm gonna change that and say we don't think we know these cards are going to be there. You're gonna see a significant showing from these cards, and if we're wrong, don't talk to me.
Then add us afterwards in this video. You can comment down below, hey, I know this is a month after, but you guys are idiots.
Yeah.
We only saw one King Ghidorah.
True.
And
I mean, heck, you can even say that tomorrow or like after this video is posted. Just go ahead and just say it, or even the day of.
Yeah.
Friggin', we're not your dad. Go for it.
Nope. One day after, we need at least some amount of barrier. If you say it day of,
you'll hurt our feelings.
you'll hurt our
Sure,
feelings.
yeah.
But anytime after that, fair game.
We're very sensitive. I think
It's-
all of us have maybe an idea of someone who might just show up and be kind of an unconventional showing that we didn't think that wasn't quite in the running, but actually kind of made an appearance. For me, that's Amajiki. I think that we're gonna see more of him than we thought, or that most people expect. Or maybe you do expect it. Maybe you're a genius and you're like me and you think that he's actually gonna show up, because we're very smart people. But I think he's really good. I think he's always been really good. There's a lot of really good momentum cards. There's a lot of really good cards that interact with momentum. I know that there's a lot that can be done about that. There's stuff that can kind of counteract that momentum, but I don't know. Amaji is just like a fan favorite. I think he's kind of been around for a while, and I think he might make another showing. What do you guys think? What's your
Yeah,
picks?
I mean, Amajiki is really good. He's always been good. He's usually one of the only seven-handers that comes into conversation when talking about playable seven-handers.
I mean, Gimir that we named, obviously, also now.
Sure.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, Amajiki is just always being talked about when it comes to like competitive decks because Amajiki has proven to be a strong character despite being a seven-hander. I think it's part of it is it does take a bit to like understand the character, learn the character. He's not an easy character to pilot. There are cards that are just momentum hate centric, so people are a bit scared to play Amajiki. I think a card that comes to mind, at least for me, is Waylay. But from what I've heard around, is not a lot of people are scared of Waylay. But Waylay is like the definitive card that counters Amajiki in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Brian, what's your pick for a card that's going to show up that we might not have thought of? And I say show up, not just like one or two as someone's pet deck, but that's like going to be a significant showing. Enough to show up on these like pie charts that they release.
I think the second Reiner 2, not living weapon,
Warrior.
Yeah, just Warrior. Reiner Warrior, I think, does a lot of what Endeavor 2 did. Or, sorry, Endeavor 3, I mean. And is... It just can give up a lot of stats once he gets transformed. And definitely could see play. I don't know if people will play him instead of, say, like Bertolt 2. But I think he does a similar thing as what you're wanting to do with Bertolt, is just flip and play a million cards. I think Reiner can do very similar stuff. At least a couple of the builds I've seen have done that.
All right, James, what's yours?
Mine's pretty simple. It's just the character that I'm probably taking. I think it's Ochako 4. I think this character got some pretty cool stuff in the Attack on Titan 2. And I think that her symbols are good. Still kind of sitting between earth and water on the one that I'm actually going to take. But I think the foundations that she got in Attack on Titan 2 have definitely pushed her above from where she was because she gets a little bit more interaction where she didn't used to have any. So I think she's got some of the secret sauce there. I don't know if it's going to end up being good enough, but I am surely hoping that it is.
What about you, Andrew?
My card is Nicholas D. Wolfwood.
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 Okay.
He was one of the characters from the Trigun Stampede Challenger deck early 2024. I think with the AOT sets, Wolfwood just got a bit more stuff to play with because there's these casino decks on Death, and Wolfwood has Death, so he gets access to all those foundations and all the fun stuff on that symbol, as well as Fire, because you get Feral Shriek. Wish Heart, I believe, is attuned Fire as well.
Yep.
Also, with just there's more range, there's more weapons, specifically weapons that Wolfwood can just buff. On top of just milling one, so you mill one, 3 damage. You mill, I'm with you. You get to remove that for 2 damage. So Wolfwood can stack up a bunch of damage on top of the fact that he has a response that's effectively rejuvenating smash at the start of your combat phase. You discard a momentum. As soon as your combat phase starts, you draw 2 cards and gain 2 health. I just think that Wolfwood has a lot more potential than he used to have.
Okay, yeah, these are some sleeper picks. Ochako and Wolfwood. Nobody really talks about those. Jake, I don't think we have to ask, but I'm gonna ask. What's yours?
All right, listen. I've been moving this one around in my head a little bit, back and forth. I think Midoriya on the move. I think he does a lot of cool stuff. He's got a bunch of being able to do plus or minus speed on face for tapping one foundation, essentially making every foundation plus or minus 3 speed. I think is very good. Plus being able to go, yeah, I know it's 300 damage, but I'm gonna set it to 1. Also good. And then on the backside, being able to go, actually, it's speed 0 and it's a flash move. Sorry.
You also get the draw card.
And you get to draw a card. And you get to tap a bunch of foundations. If they have no respect, if they're tapped out or they overcommit, you just get to go, well, it's for your health total. I think it's got some good stuff. One of the things I feel about Midoriya on the move is it just, despite having all these things that it can do, I feel like it really struggles to do those things. And you can play the Fajin Fury list that gets a bunch of momentum and then just yeets it out for high speed and damage or whatever. But that feels so inconsistent, especially with as many resets and stuff are in the game right now that you really have to play around. You can sit there and poke and poke and poke and then just go, okay, cool, I'll take 2, I'll take 5 or whatever, and mitigate you just enough that you never get to go all the way in. And I think when you're going to Nats and you're expecting to play against people that are very good, top however many getting travel vouchers, etc., everyone's going to be sweating pretty hard. You don't really want a character that, if you just passively play the game, you don't have to worry about him going all the way in.
I love the phrasing. Really good, as always, Jake.
I think it's time to start up the real hype train, and we just take 13.
Hell yeah,
Let's
right
go.
before she gets mad.
Right before it rotates out.
It's 13 and then she's gone.
Listen, if
Like-
all of us play 13, we might be able to get her on the chart. That might be
actually,
enough.
that would be sick to see 13 on the
that would
pie
be so
chart.
funny.
That'd be funny as
I don't want to play 13. Though.
Too
That sounds
bad.
awful.
I would do it just because it would be funny, and I'm not winning Nats anyway. So those are our predictions for the maybe cards you could possibly see. However, like I said, the other cards we mentioned, it's fact. We are basically Nostradamuses. Reborn, reincarnated, they will be
Nostradami.
there. Nostradami, you're right. Sorry, the biblical term. You will see them there. But let us know if you think there's going to be something different, maybe something we missed. Maybe you think there's going to be something pulling up the rear that might show up on the pie chart. Tell us in the comments while you're there, like the video. You might even drop a cheeky subscribe while you're at it. But I also want to wrap this up with some positivity. We dunked on some of these decks, especially Recovery Girl. If you're playing Recovery Girl, that's fine. I don't have much more to say about that, so I'll let someone else say something about that. Brian, say something nice about Recovery Girl, the deck.
I think it's very good at keeping itself alive with its new tools. And it can, depending on the build, pump out quite a bit of damage. It definitely has a guaranteed win condition built into her face.
James, say something nice about Godzilla, King of the Cosmos. No, King of the Monsters, sorry. I'll get the titles right one day.
I think pretty much what I said earlier. I mean, Godzilla King of the Monsters is one oppressive deck when it's played right, when it finds what it wants to. I mean, the amount of times where I've lost to a Godzilla on 2 foundations, and it just, sat there like, wow, you really played five diff attacks on 2 foundations and killed me.
This sounds passive aggressive, but I'll take it.
But I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's exactly what it wants to do. The plus checks is there so you don't have to play on a lot of foundations, and I think it is a masterclass in doing exactly that.
All right, Jake, dig very deep. Say something nice about King Ghidorah.
I thought you were going to say combined firepower.
Well, that's why I said Ghidorah.
I will not be saying anything nice about Combined Firepower. You can't make me. But about King Ghidorah, I think redacted. And that's what I have to say about that.
I think that's about as good as it's going to get from Jake. Andrew, say something nice about Toga 3.
I feel like I wasn't harsh on Toga 3 like at all, but I really think that Toga 3 is pretty good. Again, for a starter character, she's very good out of the box, and with all the recent love, she just got better. I mean, who doesn't love stun decks?
All right, Steph, say something nice about Bertolt too.
Oh. He sure does draw a lot of cards. Does that count?
Nice. That counts. I'll take it.
All right. All right, everybody all at once say something nice about Rodon.
No.
Pass.
Rodon.
He's a pterosaur, which
He
is cool.
a pterosaur. You have his alt art.
I do. I still have that at the
Ooh.
moment. I might sell it at Nats. I haven't decided. Because I'm probably not ever going to play Rodon. He's not my Godzilla choice.
He's pretty fun. I like him.
All right, we're doubling up. Andrew, say something nice about Rodon.
He flies pretty good.
The deck, not the character.
The deck plays pretty well. I honestly have no words on Rotom.
The deck flies.
If you want
pretty
something
good.
nice to add,
Make
if
him
you want
mad,
a
throw
character
it
thing,
across the room.
That's not positive.
No, I'm positive you would throw it across the room.
Rodon is probably the premier speed manipulation deck. Like,
Okay.
if
It's true. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
Next
gives
to Hawks,
and
yeah.
takes away speed, super easy and consistent, and it's very easy for Rodon to give 3 speed or take away 3 speed on pretty much every attack,
Which is pretty good.
which is very good in this game.
All right, I'll throw these up for grabs. Whoever gets them first gets to say the nice thing. Mimic.
He's a cute
Cute.
little funny guy.
That's the character. We're talking about the deck.
You see, you're just saying mimic. You didn't say the deck.
Yeah, you know, it's like that's why I
Mimic
answered
the deck.
Rodon with
It's
a pterosaur.
understood that
Mimic
it's the deck.
decks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
I'm just-
cute little deck.
I'm just being a jackass.
Ooh. Sheesh.
No, I mean, I think the deck is very interesting. As I said earlier, it just plays a very different game than a typical game of universes. You're committing assets mostly than foundations. So the deck is just very weird, but in a fun way.
He makes you very good at Gin Rummy.
Yeah, that's a positive.
Next one, I always say in the Smash announcer voice in my head, Pony Sunotori.
Pony
Pony
Sunotori!
Yeah, just like that.
Redacted.
She has a whole lot of abilities, and all of them are good. She sees a lot of cards, like she gets a lot of cool things. You're just kind of hoping you don't accidentally whiff. Obviously, with a 7 hand size character, it's harder to just blank a hand than it is for, say, like a 5 hand size character. But she's very good at what she wants to do, which is clear cards, give speed, change the zone of the attack so that she can block it, or so that it won't be blocked. Every word on her character is just very strong.
She's what Shochi 2 should have been.
Did I say Bertolt 1 already?
No.
No.
Okay, well, we're going to combine Bertolt 1 and Ymir. Say something nice that applies to both of them.
They both can just kill you when they transform. Like, so if they get to
Yeah.
be the ones that go to 9 and flip, your
You're dead.
opponent basically has to play perfect to make it through that turn, most likely. 99% of the time.
That doesn't really sound like a positive, but
It's a
I mean,
positive.
it
for
is a
playing the
positive.
deck.
That's a nice
it-
thing in context.
it's in context.
They will
Really,
fucking
just like
kill you.
stomping. I like stomping out my opponent. Okay, well,
It's positive for the player, not necessarily the person on the other side of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna jump in on the good train. I think Ymir's really good.
Oh yeah,
I
for the
think,
character you like, you're gonna jump
for the-
in and say something
yeah.
positive.
yeah, for the character I like. I jumped in. I said words about other characters.
You sure did. Like 3 of them.
I think Ymir is very good. Gaining life is a really fun thing that is usually done pretty toxic. I'm looking at you, Recovery Girl, but I think Ymir does it in a way that's fun, interactive, and interesting for the game. And then for Bertolt 1, I'm gonna say nice.
Nice. That's your nice thing.
Nice.
He's nice.
Nice.
Well, I think what
He's
we
nice
learned.
looking on his transform side. Look at that jawline.
Look at that jawline. He's jawline.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I think what we learned
Bertolt,
from this.
jawline titan.
I think what we learned from this is that Brian is really nice, and the rest of us are not that great. Not that nice.
Brian is forever the optimist.
He is.
I am one of those eternal optimists as far as this card game goes. We named 10 characters that are really good, and I'm like, yeah, there's a million reasons why they're really good. Like, that's
Yeah.
why we named them. Here's all the cool things they get to do. In
Yeah.
most of these cases, and nine of the 10 of them would be like, somebody handed me this deck, I'd be like, yeah, this was cool. Only one of them, and I said as much, that I feel like wasn't particularly fun to play. But I didn't build that list. I was just handed a list and was like, okay, I'm going to try it. I do think I could probably build a list for Bertolt 2 that just was like, this is cool. I know that everybody else thinks I'm a huge degenerate now, but I don't care. I'm doing cool things.
Well,
Fair.
I hope we can take that boundless optimism into Nats, and I hope everyone else can have some optimism going into Nats. Remember to start testing. You have 3 weeks. If you have not started testing, or if you have not decided on a character, now is probably a good time to do it.
Yeah, and honestly, I think some positivity going into Nats is very well earned. I feel like with a lot of the announcements, a lot of the world changes, and a lot of stuff going forward, UVS really does seem to have a lot of our interest in mind. I do want to give them big ups for some of the cool stuff coming to the game, not just in IPs, but showing that they're listening when it comes to like better events. I feel like they are really listening when it comes to coming to events, and I definitely want to show up for some of these events because I really do think that UVS is on an uptick overall, and I really do like this game quite a bit. It has brought me a lot of fun and some of my bestest friends, some of which are on this podcast. I mean, I wouldn't know Steph, Brian, or James without this game, and I spend a lot of time talking to these goobers regularly. So, big ups to UVS games.
We do talk at least once a week.
And we record it.
Yeah, I think that about wraps it up. That sums up our thoughts going into Nats. I hope you guys have a great time playtesting and getting ready for Nats and playing at Nats. I hope you do well, but not as well as us. Sorry. That's just how it is. So this has been Response on Play. I'm Steph. I should probably start playtesting.
I'm Jake. It'll be on the final.
Andrew, I'll pick a character eventually.
Brian, I'm thinking maybe we swap to Sungjin Woo.
And James, I'm just the other guy.
Bye.
Like, comment, subscribe, please.